you have a problem. You're gonna have a problem with even how to speak to people and talk to people because people not accepting you, right? Like it's gonna be crazy.
Man,
It's
that's
gonna
such
Yeah.
be
a
crazy.
good point because you don't match your avatar. Well, most people
Yeah,
don't.
yeah. No, they ain't gonna match the avatar. You,
That's
you, you,
I
you,
didn't
you-
think of it. I didn't think of that like that.
your
But
avatar running around, right? And you in a wheelchair when you go out in the real
right,
world.
right.
The Matrix for real.
Welcome to the We Got Problems podcast with co-hosts Curtis G. Martin, Rhonda L Brown, and Caliph Johnson Sr. The one and only podcast where solutions get discussed to our community's everyday troubles. Each week, you will hear mind-blowing conversations and actionable tips and strategies that you can implement in your daily life to become more effective. We got problems and we got solutions.
All right, you guys, welcome to the show. This is We Got Problems, the podcast where we discuss solutions. I'm Curtis G. Martin. I'm here with my co-host, Rhonda L Brown,
Hey, everybody.
Caliph Johnson Sr.,
Hey, how y'all doing?
and Lashika Phillips.
Hello, everybody.
And today we'll be talking about, man, one of the craziest topics I've seen in a while, man. But I guess they're trying to pass a bill to where prisoners, if they give up their organs or donate their organs, they can get out of jail early. What do you guys think?
The first thing for me that comes to mind are the ethical implications, allowing them, and it's not only organs; it's organs and bone marrow, in exchange for shorter sentences. Um, so my question is: does this qualify as coercion for those in vulnerable positions?
Yeah, this is weird. This is
What
real weird.
I don't know. When you say ethical implications, elaborate. What do you mean?
Like for me, what's the majority population in the prison system right now?
Melanated people, people of color.
They'll do anything to get out.
What's the regulations on it? What's the criteria? So
Like,
you telling me that a murderer can get off of a life sentence by giving up a lung or something, then
But
that's something different. But now if you're talking about somebody who's gonna be serving on a bogus charge that they got 25 to life over for stealing some cookies or something, now you put them in a position to say either you go serve this 25 with the L or you give up a spleen or something and then we'll let you out. Like you can't make it. You can't. How much is an organ worth to a human person sitting there with forever on their mind?
okay, can I just piggyback on what you just said? Because I certainly have a thought about that. Because at first my thought was when you said you gave two scenarios. The first scenario was the murderer and they give up a lung or something like that, right? So my very first thought, knee jerk reaction was, who wants a murderer's lung? That was my first thought.
Uh, uh,
somebody that
I,
need one.
hey, somebody who's sitting there with the doctor say you got 30 days unless you get
I
somebody to
need
give
to
up a
breathe. I
lung.
need to breathe. Let me get
Man,
let me
kidnapper,
get that
rapist,
lung.
murderer, they don't care what that lung come from as long as it got them saying they gonna be alive. Give me some alive. That's all I'm after.
Right. I just wanted to share. I was just making an observation. I just wanted to share my thought process as the information was coming to me.
No, that's good.
But the ethical implications, you make such a great point because you're absolutely right. The prison systems are filled with black and brown bodies. We know that. And I think that with the justice reforms that are happening all throughout the country, I mean, it could be a great way because I know they say that what donors are down, being able to get blood donors is down. People donating organs is also depleting, and so could this be a great way to get some of that, those organs and blood? I don't don't know. It's really hard for me to think about how this can be done in a way that is going to be ethical, that's going to be healthy. It could work, but when we look at how our prison systems are set up, not just in the United States but around the world, like, are we really trusting these people to do what they have said? Because let me tell you, okay, just give me one. Listen, did you know right now in the state of Louisiana, they just passed a bill, I think it's called the 544 bill or the 544 Act. What that means is, so back in the day, I want to say in the 70s, when a criminal committed a crime and if it was a charge for life, they would plead guilty to get life. But at that time, and I'm speaking for Louisiana, just give you an example of this justice reform and why I think it's hard for us to trust the system. But at that time in the 70s, again, just Louisiana, if they pled guilty, the rules on the books was that you would only serve 10 years. Well, fast forward, someone decided to change that rule, that law, that bill, and say, hey, guess what? You said life, you pled to life, so now life is life. So you pled life thinking, hey, I'm gonna get 10 years. Now you're looking up and you've been in prison for 40 years. And so that's why, if you look now again, specifically in the state of Louisiana, you're seeing a whole lot of people come up for parole because of the new reform. It made those people immediately eligible for parole. My point in all of that is, if we say, yes, this could be a great opportunity for people who are ill as well as people who are incarcerated, thinking about families of people who are incarcerated. Yes, want these families home. But on the flip side, what has the system done to show us that we can trust them to have our loved ones to say they want to give their organs, right? And then as a person on the receiving end, like, are you really going to do the due diligence to make sure that this fill in the blank of a criminal, that
Absolutely not.
I just
Absolutely not.
it's hard for me to think about it that
Well,
way.
I can say I was reading on it, and they already have some laws somewhat in place. You can give organs to your family members, not to get out early, but if a family member needed an organ, they do have some laws in some states that it can happen. Now, when it comes to somebody that sentenced to death, they cannot give an organ and walk free or get time off, right? You still just sentenced to death. Now, they're talking about having a panel that'll sit and say, so each person going to be different. It ain't going to be no a kidney get you 5 years, this get you a month. So some places are already saying it's only going to be a year, 6 months. That's all you're going to get off. You can give up a lung, but you're only getting a year out early. Um,
Wow.
I'll take the time, right? So if I did something wrong enough to get a life sentence, and then now I save a life, I gave back. I'm ready to go free.
Mm.
That's what I'm talking about. How much is a organ worth, and how much are they selling these body parts for? Because
But see,
it's
and
still a
that's my
business.
point. So the panel, though, what about this panel? This panel gets to say, okay, you were 5 years knocked off. I'm not giving my organ. Now they're gonna go back to the drawing board because somebody rich is hitting them up saying, "Man, I thought y'all had a match." Oh, the guy don't want to give it to you. Man, why not? Tell him like offer him this, offer him this. Okay, now the panel goes back to the drawing board and say, "Hey, Kurt, not only will we let you out, we're gonna give you $1 million, bro." Right? Then I might think about doing it. Right? Like I don't know. That's it's crazy to even think that a panel gonna get up and judge what my organs worth, right? Like it's just
Not just judge, negotiate the price of it, because you don't have a dog in the say, you don't have a lawyer in the room or nothing. Like, how is this process going down? Like, how are you negotiate my organs for $1 million, so they got to be worth 10 million to this person or more.
Does that not sound like the slave block?
yeah. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Mhm.
That's exactly what it is. That's what it's always been. That's what when they got rid of slavery, they implemented the police.
But then, my first thoughts on it were, okay, if they're going to allow prisoners to donate organs or blood, bone marrow, we're already disproportionately locked up on crimes that we didn't commit. Are they then going to ramp up? Like, let's say, okay, you
More
know, this person is a perfect match for
Lock
some
his
rich
ass
person that needs a kidney or something. So
oh
you gonna lock them up on some trumped up charges just to get their body part or bone marrow or whatever.
That
That was the
goes
first thing that came to my
that goes
mind
back
when
to what
I
Ashika said. Do you trust the people
and
who
I
you doing business with?
right.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be crazy. So what should the criteria be? Should all crimes be treated equally? Like, cause you got a drug case and somebody need a lung. I got a murder and somebody need a lung. What's the difference? a
The person that
lung is
needs the lung,
a lung is a
apparently.
lung though.
But it's the match. But my mine's matching yours don't. That mean I walk? Like, what is the criteria on this?
Yeah,
They
that's what
gotta,
I'm saying. What's the
they
criteria?
gotta have some boundaries on this because yo, if my lung match, you telling me I'm out of here, man? Hold on, sign me up. I
No,
so
walk around here breathing with one lung.
for prisoners, I like the ideal of it, but uh, being ethical, I don't like it at all, man.
yeah.
Can I please for a second? Like, is how equivalent is that to like what we do over with our technology? Everything that's going on in the Congo for our phones, everything that's going on with these diamonds. Like, we know the cost of what's going into it, but like if you're on the outside and your child needs this organ and this person behind bar is in possession of it and willing to sell it for what 5 less years in prison, as a parent, do you care that this person's in there for some heinous crime and you getting them out early, but your child can have an opportunity to live with this donation? Do you really care as a parent?
No, at some point you think like save a life. That's the only thing on your mind, but
Right.
that's what makes it bad. So it almost come down to like, is it getting that bad for organs to where there's not enough normal people in the world to where now you're going to take people in jail? That mean now people, like Rhonda said, get locked up for nothing just to start getting organs,
Yeah.
right?
And
And
then you gotta wonder, what is the prison system getting out of this? Because not only are they going to have to take care of the prisoner after the organ is taken, for the surgeries and the aftercare, but they got to be getting some kind of money out of
Oh,
this.
of course.
They got
yeah,
to be getting some
but
substantial money.
you got to think about it too, though, Rhonda. It could be that whole black market that they making it legal.
How
Hmm.
long have they been making it legal though? Like, this is not something. I
Well,
guess this is
it
just
ain't
it's
it
coming
ain't
to the forefront.
it ain't really been legal. They've been
They've been
stealing them.
doing it.
Yeah, they've been
Right.
Just because
stealing.
it ain't been legal, like I said, like how
They've been
this just
stealing them.
came to the
So,
forefront.
but now it's legal when they put a bill in place to give up your organs. Now that's on the table as being legal. So now you can do a bunch of illegal shit up under that umbrella, right?
Hmm.
Of legal. Like now, like it's almost like a organ donor, right? Like a organ donor can something can happen to them, right? And they jacked up really bad. Normally they would save this person or try to save him, but since he's an
Mhm.
organ donor, let's go on and make the decision to go ahead and just take all the organs before he goes, right? Like where do this shit stop to where we're gonna make sure people are genuinely okay and it's just not a black market type thing.
Yeah, and to
Hmm.
Rhonda's point about people getting bogus charges just for the sake of organ harvesting, I think that's really something to be looked at, especially when we look at states around the country where they have a high population of minority inmates, young children inmates, and I just can't even imagine that as a child, and especially if you're a ward of the state, then who's going to make that decision for you? You're not 18 to say that you can, but so the state is going to make that decision for you, and to your point about who's to say that, as an inmate, they're on the table and maybe there's some complications after the fact that, well, he was donating this lung, well, we got a kidney, he's not going to make it, let's just go on the kidney, time of death, 223, whatever it is.
Let's go and take this heart as well, these other lungs and all this
Right.
stuff, because he was willing to donate, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I think that it could end up being a I just don't see it being something that is going to be ethical and done in a way that's going to make people feel safe and and just I just don't I just see disaster waiting to happen.
Right.
So many different so
and,
many
So so are we, or is it just organs for a certain amount of time, or are you getting paid on top of that? Because those organs go for top dollar around the world.
no,
no
right
Are
now,
you
right
just
now
getting
it's
your
just saying your
freedom?
sentence. Right now it's just
Oh
saying
no.
to get your sentence. See, but you
yeah.
saying that as a free man. You saying
Right.
that as a free man, a guy that's locked up, like he might go for it. A guy that's having trouble, ain't never been to jail before, and they gave him a year and a half, and he been in there 3 months. He like, shit, I can get this year over with. Here, man, you know what, Doc? How can I live without this? What? Yep. Okay. Here, yeah. Go on and take it. How long is it gonna take me to heal?
But who's to say that they won't come back and do like what they did in Louisiana? So let's I think I used Johnny. Let's say Sammy. So Sammy locked up. Sammy got 10 years for whatever. And they say, hey, Sammy, you want to donate or whatever? He said, yeah, I'm gonna donate this. So Sammy got this. They knock off 5 years. So I'm making this up clearly. So 5 years knocked off. He gave away an organ. Now he at home chilling, or on his way out, home chilling. They passed another bill that basically just null and voids this giving away your organ. So now what, he comes back, or he has to come back to prison? I mean, because this has happened. Where, oh, while he's serving the remaining of the time that's been short, now he's serving 5 years. He's given this long, he got 5 years to go. And in the middle of that 5 years, they come and say, oh, you know what? We just had a change in that bill. So even though you gave us a long, it's still 10 years. Sorry. Like, that can happen. It's
Mhm.
happening. It has happened. I mean, obviously not the Oregon part, but the whole idea of pleas changing and sentences changing like that. I just don't know that I trust the system enough to where if I had a family member incarcerated, that I would encourage them to do something like that. I just don't see it happening.
But see, you guys, when you, so many things will go through your mind behind those walls, and depending on what you're going through.
That's true.
And then, if you think about it, like let's say somebody really, really like they really want your kidney or something. The guards, the COs, the prison staff, they can make it hell for you in there just to get, like, do you think that there will be undue pressure and coercion to give up body parts, give up bone marrow? And how can policies ensure free choice free choice and consent rather than pressure, like you have to do this?
Yeah, no, the pressure from inside can be um, with a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
Guards can pay inmates to pressure somebody, right?
Oh,
The guards themselves can pressure people.
Mm-hmm.
They can take me and put me in a place where they know I don't get along with these other people over here, right? To where they're pressuring me into making a decision. I know how I can get up out of here, man. Tell them you'll give your kidney up and they'll
Mm-hmm.
get you off the yard, right? Like, it's I saw the other day, and I ain't gonna touch on this too much, but they released a video and they were saying this prominent rapper was playing like he was gay to get off the yard, and then it got leaked, but it was police video, the one that got leaked,
Mm-hmm.
right?
So you know
So
who leaked it?
yeah. So would they put me in a position to where I'm gonna want to get out of there so bad to where I give up a body part, right? Or they come ask me, hey, the only way we can get you out of here, man, you know they got that program where you can give up some,
Mhm.
think about it, and then leave. Shit, I ain't got to think no longer if I'm that scared or whatever going on and where I need to be
Yeah,
out of there, right? Like it's just horrible. So yeah, pressure can come from everywhere.
yeah. I think the policies in place. I think that there should be some type of policy in place to ensure that the sentence can be reversed. I think that
Hmm.
that would be very beneficial. I think that there should be some very concrete guidance or some just protection or information available for post care. So if an inmate decides that they want to go through the donation process, like what is the state or the system prepared to do to ensure the health of that inmate post, the surgery and everything. But I just see it being a disaster in so many different ways. I could see just so much more violence inside the prison system. So many more black and brown bodies now being incarcerated on bogus charges. Maybe
Hmm.
more police brutality. I mean, I think it can just spiral into so many different things. Um, yeah, I just
Yeah, no,
it was
it's a
a
no
big
go for me. It should be
uncomfortable.
taken off the table. It should be taken off
Yeah,
the table.
It's no way that it's impossible for it to be authentically ethical when you're talking about something so unethical by giving a body part away to get out. Like, it's when you're talking about something unethical, you can't truly find something ethical about it. Like, you try and justify this any way you try and justify it, you're gonna look at either side as wrong. One, for you having to give up what in some countries is gonna cost $100 to $1 million if a person know that that's going to be the right lung and kidney. A person to pay $10 million for that organ just because it's the right one and it'll match with this in particular blood type. So you got to understand what these people are willing to pay in order to stay alive. The money don't really mean nothing if you can't be there to actually enjoy it. So a person who can live without a liver or a kidney, you know what I mean, they'll be very willing to give up a person who don't even have a chance at life, and you giving it up for whatever it's worth to them. But all you're getting is not a financial donation. This is just your freedom. And that's a cold way to look at it.
Temporarily, because you're not even guaranteed that they could. You
Well,
could
What you
be
gonna
locked
say for
right
the
back
even
up the next day.
even if they guaranteed you was gonna be out, it just make for bad business,
Right,
right?
but see, they can guarantee you're going to be out for that charge. They can get you on another charge the next day to put you right back in.
But that's kind of on you, the life you live. But again, that speaks to what we think in this country and how we think. We should be thinking to promote better healthy living, not how we can get organs out of people. Shit.
yeah,
Hmm.
Let's promote healthy living. Let's
yeah,
promote not going to jail, right? Like it's so many other things we can do. If we got billions of dollars for war out of nowhere when we trillions of dollars in deficit, then we can figure out how to promote healthy living. We can figure out how to promote programs where people not going to jail, how to keep people out of jail. It's so much we can be done. But when you look at everything that this country stand for and built on, you need all of this stuff going on for it to sustain itself, right? Like you need the bad living so the money generates on the organs, right? The money generates in the hospital. You need the crime so it keeps generating in the court system, and right, like it can't live.
Hmm.
This system can't live with all good because it's
yeah.
built
Right.
on bad.
Man, I'm going down so many different rabbit holes right now because so my question, and I mean, this is just a rhetorical, we're just having a conversation, right? But so okay, so does that mean then that the prison system would go, let's just say hypothetically this gets approved or whatever. So then does that mean that the prison system will now be in the business of donor harvesting? So then so hold on. So I'm again we don't know the answers. I'm this is what I'm thinking about. So I imagine that how would this work, right? So would there be like some inventory, right? Okay, so you want to donate whatever, so you fill out an application or whatever. So then will they just then start extracting and then sourcing, putting like how is this going to work? They're just gonna wait until a patient comes up and says, "Oh, I need a whatever," and we got some inmates down in Florida that's a match. I mean, I'm just trying to understand because it really now sounds like the prison system is now becoming a part of an entire different
Yeah,
industry.
it's organ harvesting, like you said. And
Mhm.
instead of going to the faux yard for hardened criminals, you're gonna go to the liver yard. You're gonna go to the lung yard, right? With a good lung yard. Hey, who got a good upper torso? Like this guy whole body good. We're gonna put him, and then now we know who to get from, right? Like because they're already taking blood when they go to
Yeah.
jail,
Mhm.
right? So they
Yeah.
can do all the tests they want to do, right? Like I don't
Wow.
know. It's just bad business for me. Like
Yeah.
It is.
We can look at the history and see how they gonna play it. You know how they've been. If somebody around the prison needs something moved in their yard, or if they need a hole dug, if they need a trench dug, they need fires fought. Like they've been using prisoners for free labor, and they've been profited in the contracts they do with them. So, what you think is gonna be different about the organs?
so to me, this is um, a system that's bad. That's their ethical way to go about it,
Mm,
right? Um, to play like
ethical.
they being to play like they being ethical, right? But I'm sure that they get people get stabbed and they can wait and let the guy wait. Okay, yeah, he died. Boom, grab them organs. They ready to
Yeah.
grab the organs. So I don't know. We just opening the doors for all type of things to happen to where somebody on the streets got a good body. This guy's an athlete, and all of a sudden he get picked up on a charge, and then now either way, something can happen to him. He like, you know what, man? Let me give up this kidney. I don't even want to fight this case. I'm gonna plead guilty and give up a kidney, and I'm out.
Mm,
Yeah.
Right? Like this shit don't make no sense.
Yeah.
There's no way we
And
can
the
get.
way things are going, you already know it's going to be disproportionate numbers
They need
that
them
are
good lungs. They need the good liver.
yeah. And see,
right.
because that'll be the next thing. Well, I don't know. I was watching some documentary last night and it was talking about, we know that the most powerful organ on our body is our skin, and how all of these new advances in medicine and looking at reversing aging and all of that, it all goes back to them really investigating the skin. I just see that if this is approved,
Oh no.
this could end up being just uh something out of some kind of sci-fi, or what's that, Tales from the Dark
No,
Side.
I know what you're saying. I see it right now. We turn white and then they dark.
No, I'm just saying it's, yeah.
They just snatch the skin, like they snatching skin now.
Skin harvesting.
Yeah, like man, it's just too much, man. Like
It'd be
nah,
next.
Hmm.
yeah, that they need to halt that. Like if somebody wanted to, I don't know, to do it for the reason they doing it to get off early, and most of the stuff I saw on it was like a year. It wasn't no more than a year. So I can't even see me going through a surgery for a year.
Yeah.
Right. They get a year. The prison system it gets at least a 500,000.
Yeah, nah, I'm good. I'm
Uh,
good.
mm, wow.
There's no way you could put me up in that type of position to be risking that much of my life and my well-being of my life,
Yeah.
and then just to get out for that short amount of time. Because now they start talking about giving off 5 or 10 years. There's gonna be some Pablo Escobars up there. Like, hold on, here go, take this kidney. I get
No,
back outside and do my due diligence.
everybody got a body part.
They'll be willing to cut off. How many pounds of flesh you willing to give up to get out of here? How many
Oh,
pounds of flesh are you willing to give up to
Yeah,
get up out of this seat?
Yeah, it's a bad deal.
all the way around. Except for the prison system. They're the ones
oh
that's going
yeah.
to be making money off of it.
Hmm.
It's a good deal for them.
But it's always been a good deal for them. It's been a good deal to keep that system going. I think they're just trying to maximize what they've been utilizing for years. Like now,
Diversifying.
yeah, like they can actually put this on the books and say this is legal tender by saying that they signed up for it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Before it's just, oh, somebody fell over the banister by accident and they don't know what happened to this parts of the body when they did the autopsy. It's been,
Hmm.
you
That's
know what I
happening
mean?
all around the country anyway.
Mhm.
And when you don't have no money or you don't have the wits to even look at that, like, hey, what happened to them? Let's get a second autopsy. Get a second autopsy, and all of a sudden, everything missing.
If there's even a first autopsy, I saw a story that off-duty police officer ran over this guy.
I saw
The
that.
the woman was looking for him for 3 months. They had already buried him
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and
her
they
didn't
knew
son.
who he
notify.
was. They
They
knew
knew
who he
who he
was by his
was.
fingerprints. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's crazy about that story is she had became an activist because her brother was killed by the same department
Oh
Yeah.
my.
on resisting arrest, and she feel like they was getting at her by killing her son.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's crazy. So
Not just
yeah,
killing them and acting like they looking for them and they know they had killed them themselves.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
buried him already.
So yeah, that's what's gonna happen with this harvesting. That's what it's gonna turn into. You got a politician that's needing a lung, and all of a sudden he pressuring the penitentiaries to come up with somebody.
Hmm. And they're
Yeah.
gonna come up with somebody whether that person agrees to give it up or not. They're gonna give it up one way or another.
Because they can.
Um, this guy told a story. This guy Andre Norman, he told a story. He's a speaker, and he goes around. He doing prison reform, and he's talk about how um he would go into the chow hall and tell them, hey, make me a sandwich. And they knew he was a shot caller in the penitentiary, and say the guys would make him a sandwich. And he said one of the guys, a new guy that was running the place, was like, no, don't make him a sandwich. He said he told him, and I might be messing the story up a little bit, right? But he said he told him, look, man, I'm going to get my sandwich either now or a year from now when I get out the hole. But you ain't going to leave this place without me getting a sandwich. Right? So he gonna kill him. I'm gonna either kill you now, I'm gonna get a sandwich and walk, or I'm gonna kill you and get a sandwich a year from now when they finally let me out the hole. Right? So,
Hmm.
but I'm gonna get my sandwich. But yeah, this shit crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely that. If we get out and vote that out, we can't do that.
So look, we had a last question, like given the understandable mistrust of the medical system, we kind of touched on it already, but given the mistrust of the medical system among Black Americans related to past abuses, are extra consent protections needed, and what are they?
No consent. Vote it down. Like you ain't getting nothing.
Yeah, I think it should be in addition to the inmate consent, I think that there should be some type of family support, like a prisoner. So if they pass this, a prisoner should not be allowed to say yes or no without some other accompanying support, whether it's family, whether it's doctor, whether it's attorney. Just my point is just that they shouldn't be making that decision by themselves.
Okay,
Um,
I got a question going off of what you just said, sis. So
okay.
if they're making it legal for prisoners to give up lungs and body parts and just to sell their body parts, can anybody get out there and sell them, or can the prisoners sell it on their own and use it for their defense?
Well, the
Like
prisoners
like
are selling it.
what's the market we talking about here? Because I know some homeless people that are in jail that probably would go ahead and go for the deal if you tell them they can get a $1.2 million for their liver that's perfectly healthy.
So that ain't the way it works. The way it
No,
works is you get a little time off. It ain't no you can go sell it. You under our
no one.
criteria. That's what makes it bad. If it was some, so what makes it all bad is that now you into, right, like people getting into marriages to set somebody up to sign off their organs, then kill their ass, and then now take their organs, right? Like, it just so much can go into that if they open it up for us to just be selling organs, man. That's horrible, man. It should be donation based. It should be donation based. That's already horrible, right? Because I told you guys scenarios, right? I've seen it happen. You seen it, Trash. I know you have, where a guy gets shot and then they play like it ain't safe to go in to take care of him. And then they let him sit there and bleed and he bleed and he dies right there.
Bled out.
And then they come up and you know, I was EMT once, so I know they teach that if the family is looking, you still go like you trying to save this person. This person is dead, and you sitting there pumping his chest, trying to bring him back, and they got hope going, right? And you get in the ambulance and you moving, right? But the person probably was already dead. So they don't want the grief right there on site. So, but you sat there and let them die, right? Like, come on, I've seen it. So with that being said, like I've seen, and just thinking about organ harvesting, right? Imagine racism's everywhere, right? So imagine a skinhead guy working for the ambulance in the black community. When they pull up, no, they're not trying to help nobody. They want to see them die. They getting a kick out of watching them die, right? Like, so all of this stuff, when you talk about racist police officers, hey man, give up a kidney, man. Go ahead, give up, because he got a brother that need a kidney, and he in there fishing for his brother, right? Like, it just too much can go wrong with this shit.
Mm-hmm. I just saw a thing today. It was a black guy in a restaurant, and there was a 80-some-year-old white guy celebrating his birthday. And the black guy, you know, is like, you know, happy birthday. Like, you know, it must be good to have that many years of memories or something like that. And he was like, you know, he was a retired firefighter. And he's like, back in the 60s and 70s, you know, depending on, he's like, got people with my skin tone wouldn't save people with your skin tone in a house fire.
Yeah,
they would go in and then see who it was and leave out like they couldn't do anything, like they couldn't get to them.
It ain't no secret,
right?
So when you know this, like that make all this shit bad. Like, you know, honestly, yeah, I think it's for another show, but honestly, like, most of the shit they come up with, these politicians, be BS. You know, most of it they come up as BS, or don't have the right tones. Like I can go back to SB 54, XB 64 here, Senate Bill 64. Mm-hmm. It was to give the unions more work inside the refineries. Take it from the non-union, support the union workers. They highly skilled, they train, get them some work. Man, California put that law in effect, and I've seen so many people here in California that lost their jobs. They did let some of them in the unions, but now we just had massive work going on in the refineries here, in 3 refineries at one time, and probably 70% of the people were from out of California. Wow. So how did that work? How did that work for California? You put a Senate bill for California, now they calling all these workers from outside the state. So all this money being made here and taken outside of the state, it don't change hands here. When the guys that was living here would have been changing money in hands around the state, right? Like, so most of the shit they come up with be BS. We need a whole nother set of politicians. Take this bill off the floor. Y'all get it out of here. We got problems, you guys, but we also have solutions. And we out.
We got problems and we got solutions. Thank you for listening. To stay connected with us, like, share, and subscribe to the We Got Problems podcast. You can find us on social media platforms at Curtis Martin 247, at Rhonda Wrights Official, and at _trash_vegan_.